Canadian Light Source in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan is located on Treaty 6 land in the traditional territories of the Nehiyawak, Cree, Anishinaabe, Lakota, Dakota, and Nakota nations, and the homeland of the Métis. As educators, we respect Indigenous ways of knowing and oral traditions. We dedicate ourselves to moving forward in the spirit of partnership, reconciliation, and collaboration.
All right. We'll start off. Good afternoon. This is our career interview portfolio video, and we are going to interview Jigang Zhou. And so our first time, we wanted you to introduce yourself, maybe tell us what you do at the Canadian Light Source, and what does your typical day look like?
Hello, everyone. It's my great pleasure to have this opportunity to talk to you by this special way due to the COVID. My name is Jigang Zhou. If you look at the spelling, you will surprise it's totally different from English pronunciation system. But I'm a scientist. I work in the we call industry science group. That means I work with people who cannot access c.l.s. through a general user proposal, and then they still want to use c.l.s. I work with them, do the experiment, do the data interpretation, and then that's kind of my job. From another perspective to look at my job is I'm a chemist. And I work inside c.l.s. to help chemists and material scientists out of c.l.s. to look at the c.l.s. through the chemist perspective. This looks like, sounds like very straightforward, but actually for in the future, after you use c.l.s. to do some experiment, you will realize to understand the data, to understand the result is not straightforward. It does need experience and need people know both fields. I mean, know the system you studied and also know the synchrotron. So industry science group is that kind of special team to serve as a bridge to bring different communities to c.l.s. And then my particular expertise is in material science, especially for batteries, water splitting to get clean hydrogen. That's kind of electrochemical engineering related.
So does your field of work in your knowledge area, did you take a lot of courses in high school that relate to that, or did you learn that further along in university?
Kind of for the material science part, for the electrochemical engineering part, that's from my undergrad and graduate study back to China a long time ago. I entered into the university in 1990. That's 22, no, 32, long time ago, right? Yeah.
Well, it doesn't seem that long ago. So what has been your favorite experience at the Canadian Light Source and why?
Oh, there's a lot of exciting moment experience. So it's very difficult to just pick up one, right? For example, in the last 13 years after I joined c.l.s., I have been working with a company like Boeing to look at the advanced materials used to make a Dreamliner. And then I also work with a lot of companies, I cannot name them, to look at the advanced materials, batteries, fuel cells. So a lot of moments is very excited. For example, we kind of made the first inside to electrochemical reactor works under the beam. We use the X-ray to monitor the water splitting process to understand how the catalyst work better. This is, but recently I do have another cool project. We just purchased very kind of high tech the small reactor. We can think about nano reactor. We look at the we can use that reactor to look at the single battery particle to follow up how the single particle charge discharge in an environment just like your batteries used to power your cell phone, power your laptop. So that's very, very cool. But to make it worse, it take a lot of efforts. There's most of the time we just fail, right? We couldn't get the result, but eventually we will get it works, and then we will know how a single particle. Why single particle is important? You think about your battery. One battery it contains millions, 100 millions particles, but they work differently, right? And then if we really go deeper to look at the single particle works, we can manage to make the billions particle work better, and then will power your cell phone much longer than right now. Right now you probably have to charge the battery once a day, and then maybe in the future you just charge it once a month, for example.
Well, that would be amazing. And that would save a lot of electricity if we only had to power our cell phones once a month. That's amazing. So what was your first job?
My first job, you mean first job in Canada or my first job in my life? I got.
I think both. I think it's important to know when you start working as a young person, and then what was it like to come to Canada, and what was your first job when you came here?
First, I think I can share my first job in China. That's again long time ago after I got my master degree for the battery engineer, and then I got a job in the kind of we somehow we said that's the most beautiful city in China is called Xiamen. It's on an island. It's very small island, very cozy place. I made a slide I want to share with students, right? Show my career path. So I spent 7 years over there as a battery engineer, just look at all kinds of battery. I have a hands-on experience for battery manufacturing for all kinds of commercial available batteries in that on that island for 7 years. And then after that, I moved to London, Ontario to get my PhD. And then after that, I moved here. So if you look at that part, you will kind of realize my latitude just increased. And then temperature, the number also increased. We didn't talk about the warm or cold, but yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, cover the whole last 30 years kind of my past. So I spent 7 years in that kind of Hawaii style island, and then London, Ontario, the South Canada, and then moved to Prairie here. So increase the latitude, and then at the same time increase my altitude. So work more excitingly in CLS. So got a lot of, and then the job at CLS is my first job and only job for me in Canada. I'm kind of lucky.
That's awesome. Well, we're happy to have you, that's for sure. Especially if you're going to make my battery last a whole month. You're an essential worker now.
I hope so.
Yeah. Then our final question that we would ask is, what was your best interview, or what was maybe some advice you have for a young person that's coming up for how to prepare for a job interview with Canadian Light Source or within your department of Canadian Light Source?
Yeah, that's a good question, and then kind of remind me think about when I prepared my job interview. I can share with you is I was very nervous. You should understand, right? The reason nervous is because back to 13 years ago, when I prepared for the job interview, at that time my English was much better than I entered to Canada. But I still feel nervous because it's obvious, right? Because English is my second language. This is the first problem or concern. A second concern is the job CLS asked post when I apply for is totally out of my experience. Because at that time, CLS Industry Science Group look for people to do the tribology. And then if you know tribology, your English is much better. But for me, when I first look at the job post, I have no idea about tribology because I did the electrochemistry during my PhD, and that electrochemistry was my training and working experience in China for academic study and then for the working experience. I have no idea about tribology. So I asked my supervisor, who is one of the pioneer of Canadian synchrotron science. And then I asked him, I said, what I should do for the job interview. And then his answer is very simple, but it's very, very important. He told me, be yourself. He just simply told me, be yourself. And then I went back home. I think be myself, how I can be myself. But to answer this, be yourself, I spent probably for 1 month. I remember kind of 1 month. I think about myself, why I fit this job. So I look back my all my journey, think about my experience. I didn't lie. You know, I just put piece by piece together, kind of organically to organize them. And also during this process, I do realize what I have. You know, I can I have very good working method. I know my logic reasoning is very good. Those all those kind of things is important. Another thing is my industry working experience, my engineer experience, working experience, training experience will be very useful for CLS in the future when I work with Chevron. And then indeed, I did a very good job. I think in 2 years I worked with Chevron Group. Look at the tribology I never heard about, but because I very quickly catch up, learn the tribology, and then integrate synchrotron characterization with tribology. It's awesome. So just be yourself, but it's not do not be yourself doesn't mean you don't need to do anything. You need very hard, super hard to think about yourself and be yourself. It doesn't mean you lie. You make a fake story, say you fit this job. Just be yourself, but to really dig out, realize why you are good for CLS. Yeah, that's my experience.
That's great advice, Jigang. It's So you had the right characteristics and you were willing to learn the skills that you needed as you went on. And I think that's great advice to give, for sure. So do you have any other stories that you would like to share that would inspire anybody to apply to a position at Canadian Light Source?
Yeah, I think I inspire Thailand people to think about CLS because this is excellent place. You will have a great opportunity to work with Thailand people and also very friendly people in this good place. Even though sometimes we have a temperature go down to below -40, but today we're very good. It's above 0.
The temperatures are cold, but the people are very warm.
Yeah, yeah, you're right.
That's awesome. Well, thank you very much for the interview.